Welcome to another episode of the V101 Media Podcast. I'm Leonard Kaplan, and in this show, we're going to be interviewing a whole bunch of people, every person in this class. And my first guest, even though this is our third time around, take 3, is Brian Hunt, the junior Brian Hunt, and we're going to talk to Brian about his year in media tech and where he goes from here. Welcome to the show again, Brian.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure doing this show.
It's a lot of fun podcasting because we now have the GoPro getting video of us at the same time, and we have these mics which work really, really well. And we were accidentally recording onto the GoPro mic the other day, so that's why we have to do it again.
Oh.
This, you're going to find a big difference in quality. Did you get a chance to listen to the other one? The other takes?
Yeah, I did.
So did you see how hollow they sounded?
Yep.
So this is going to sound like professional radio. Okay? Anyway, Brian, so how has this year been for you in media tech? This is your junior year. You did a whole bunch of stuff, very diverse. Describe it to the audience.
It's been a good year. This has probably been the year in all of my in the 2 years I've been in this shop where I've done the most. I've done the most projects.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a music video. I've done a documentary. I've done a couple of animations. I've done a silent movie. And
you did a talk show.
That too. I've just done so many things this year.
Both in front of the camera and in back of the camera.
Yep.
What is your favorite thing to do? If you had to pick one thing to do, would you pick being a camera person, being an editor, being a host? What would you pick?
Maybe editor, because I just love editing.
Great powers of concentration you have, and I just said that like Yoda. But it's true. You put those headphones on, you stare into the screen, and you're in another world.
That I am. Funny that you mentioned Yoda, because you're wearing a Yoda-style color shirt.
I am?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Very interesting. So, of all the projects that you've done, what was your favorite project, singularly?
Probably either the documentary or the commercial.
Yep.
Those two were my favorite.
So you did like the fake promo, you mean, for Universal, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what was the other one where you had me do a voice of Vin Diesel?
That was an animation. It was based off... It's called Tea Time. It was based off a poem of the same name by Michael Rosen. I don't know if it's a written poem, but there is a video of it up on YouTube, and it's absolutely hilarious. Just type in Tea Time Michael Rosen, you'll find it. And
I will.
What I did with the Vin Diesel character, I took the poem of Tea Time and I added some changes to it. I changed it. The Tea Time poem involves Michael Rosen's father wanting Michael Rosen to get him all the stuff for his tea, and his mom scolds the dad for it. However, this time around, I just changed it to random characters to kind of make it funnier.
So for the viewers and listeners out there, can you describe who Michael Rosen is?
Michael Rosen is a poet, an English poet. He is actually also there's 1,000 memes of him on the internet, and he has a YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos that he did in 2008, which I highly recommend. They're very funny. A lot of them, they're very entertaining. And some of his newer stuff is actually pretty enjoyable too, but mostly his 2008 videos seem to be the ones that get attention, and for good reason, because they're so entertaining.
Now, how did you discover Mr. Rosen?
The same way I think every other kid my age discovered him. Memes.
Memes, okay. Now, for those older listeners and viewers out there, what is a meme?
A meme is something, it's hard to really explain, but on the internet, it's essentially where you take either a scene from a movie or a TV show or a piece of artwork, and you essentially make a joke of it.
That's a very good definition. There are a lot of political memes, which kind of drive me crazy because political memes
Agreed.
They kind of make, if you disagree with the theme of the meme, it's designed to make the people who disagree look silly. That's my take on it. Anyway, so next year's your senior year, Brian, and what do you have planned for then?
Oh, I don't even know, but maybe a stop motion video. I've been wanting to do that for a while now, so I'm hoping senior year I get a chance.
So let's look beyond that now. What about in the work world? What do you plan to do post-graduation, after graduation?
I plan on, after going to college, I'm planning on working on movies. I'm planning on being a writer, director, producer, editor, and actor.
That's a lot of hats to wear. That's great. So anyway, Brian, I think we've covered it all. Anything else you'd like to say at the end of this year as a junior?
No.
All right. Let's go on to another segment. Thank you for joining us, Brian.
No problem.
My guest at this time is Michael Alberto, sophomore extraordinaire, YouTuber.
Hey.
And we got a lot to talk about in this segment. So I would like to ask you what you learned in this class.
Documentary style interview and how to shoot it properly was probably the most useful advice. Also learned some new terms.
So describe the projects that you do and describe your life as a YouTuber and how you got into it.
I got into YouTube. It was really weird. There was an ad on Nickelodeon for a SpongeBob game, and I wanted to play it. And my mom, somehow we ended up on YouTube, and I started watching Lego stop-motion videos, which were really popping back in the day.
What year was this?
This was like 2009.
Okay.
This was like 10, 11 years ago at this
And
point.
how old were you then?
It's like 7.
Okay.
So I really shouldn't have been on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching it for days on end. It was like all cuss words. My mom found out and she got mad. So I couldn't use YouTube for a while. But after I started watching those videos, I attempted to make my own stop motion videos. And then when I got back on YouTube, when I got older, started watching these 2 YouTube channels, Mario 8989 and Super Mario Logan, which they're still around today. They made puppet videos, and that really is what kickstarted me to getting into video editing in Sony Vegas and all that.
Now at age 15, you actually make money. 16, excuse me.
Yeah.
You actually make money on the internet as an editor as well as for the shows that you produce. How did that come about, and how does that work for those people out there who would like to emulate you?
I first started getting paid when I started getting commission work, which is when you sell service. So normally commission goes for like art, but I've worked with video editing too. So normally you have to get reached out by a curator who needs like a video editor. But when you start out small, you kind of have to reach out to them. So I got bored. I reached out to a lot of people on Twitter, and I reached out to one of my favorite YouTubers, KTO, just seeing if it would happen. I didn't think it would, because like when you're supposed to do it by email, but I did it through publicly on Twitter, and he actually responded, and made like I think like $100, and it wasn't much at the time, but my dad was very proud, and then he bought me like all the professional equipment and all that, and I've just been able to keep getting new gigs. Work with this other guy now, 5 Point Vids, and I've sent a few applications to a guy named Saberspark, who's another guy I used to watch growing up, who makes video essays, which is what I mean we produce. And I sent one out to Tim Pool and Subverse. Subverse is like this, he's trying to build this non-biased news organization. And so I sent an application to work for them.
Okay, that's very interesting. I'm going to ask you to do something now, right now, so the viewers at home and the listeners at home can now hear a hum. And that hum is from the air conditioner in the room.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to stand up and go and shut that thermostat off for me. And we'll see if the viewers see that green light?
Yeah.
It's going to put it on off.
All right.
There we go. That is how it's done, folks. That's how you make a room more radio or podcast friendly.
And I just got to sweat.
Anyway, so now, how does this class jive with your YouTube career?
What do you mean jive?
How does it match? How is it put together? How does it benefit your YouTube career? Or how does the YouTube career benefit you in this class?
The YouTube career benefited me because this class uses Premiere Pro, and it's very similar to Sony Vegas, which I already had a few years experience with.
Mm-hmm.
But when my dad bought me the more professional stuff, he got me Premiere Pro. So I had a whole summer just to mess with that, and I got really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And how the shop helps me is it's mostly with camera work and talking with people. I also got time to think. I recently cleared out my old laptop, so I can now use that as like a way to type. So that's what I've been doing in school when I have free time instead of just looking at my phone or typing on my phone, which is a pain in the ass in Google Docs. So now I just...
I'm going to have to bleep that.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, I do.
Well, don't bleep it, but I just put like a little random cut so like it's just no audio, because the bleep is like kind of annoying. I don't know about you. That's a pet peeve I have with the bleep. But where was I? So, yeah.
You know, we're doing a PSA with the freshmen about profanity on the air,
Yeah.
and we're putting bleeps in.
Well, they don't want the FCC to sue you.
It's funny, though, that the bleeps can actually be funny.
Yeah, but like in comedy, it's funny, but like...
Well, it's kind of a comic PSA.
Yeah, but like when we're talking like this...
For this.
We want it to sound like professional, so you just want the random cut with no audio.
Yeah,
so
well...
The audience knows it's a swear, and it's not that loud.
I'll probably cut this whole segment out where we're talking about swears.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's continue. So, in the time that we have left in the school year, what are your plans to do in this class for a project?
Project. Right now, I'm working with Bianca on a music video. She said she will get the shots and song picked and all that. I have no idea if it's actually going to happen. I'm hoping she does it.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, I'll probably just turn in a video I'm already working on in.
Anyway, so now you're about to be a junior and you're going to be in the shop again.
Mm-hmm.
What are your plans for next year in the shop?
First off, Miss Frazier, if you're listening, I'm not going to wear the uniform. First things first. But I guess I'll just keep working. I mean, hopefully... I might actually try to pick up After Effects next year. Because, like, After Effects is something I need to learn. But, like, I just don't really have the patience to learn it. But since I'm going to have even more time in the shop next year, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Well, we have Adobe Animate now and Character Animate, the 2018 versions of all the Adobe Creative Suite. So it's a really good chance for you to do it. And I highly suggest, it's a requirement, that you get certified in Adobe.
Yeah, I have to do the testing too, which that's gonna kind of suck. Because you know the guy who makes the test follows me on Twitter.
He does.
Yeah, I don't know why, but he follows me. He like just complains about Trump on his official
Very
company
interesting.
Twitter page. It's a very interesting page to follow.
Anyway, I will check that out. So, any parting words for this podcast?
Keep working hard.
All right, we'll be right back with another guest. We're here now with Olivia Jones, who is a sophomore and came toward the end of the year, I guess, in the last 3 or 4 months, or has it been longer, Liv?
I'd say 3 or 4 months.
Okay, so what have you learned in this class, and what do you hope to use in the future?
I've learned how to use the camera more and more about directing videos and what kind of mics there are and when you'd use them, because you can't just use any mic at any moment. Well, you can, but it's like it wouldn't be so appropriate. Like, it'd be easier if you used one that went with the video you're shooting, if that makes sense.
That's exactly right. Like, actors would not use a lavalier or a stick mic because you don't want the mic to show.
Yeah.
So you use a shotgun mic, which isn't seen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets into the shot by accident, but then you get to reshoot.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the projects that you've been involved in that were fun for you?
I did a skit for my friend Savannah, and I was with my friend Mattie, and we were dancing to Scooby-Doo. I've done animation before.
That's right. You were sitting next to me in the animation field trip at Leslie College, and you were doing some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to make money come out of a money bag. It took a few tries before I could actually get the hang of it, but it was fun.
But the disappointing aspect was, and it happened to me too, when we brought the thumb drives home, what happened?
They didn't work.
They didn't work. For some reason, those files didn't make it onto the thumb drive.
I got to take a video of mine, though.
You what?
I took a video of mine in action.
That was very smart. I should have done that myself, but I trusted that it was going to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened. What's going to happen with you next year?
I'm not really sure what shop I'm going to be in, or if I'm even going to be in the vocational school. Well, I hope to be, but we'll see.
Do you have an interest in media as a career, or some aspect? Do you think you'll use media again, even if it's not a career?
Maybe later on, but my main focus is nursing. And if I can't really get into that, I want to do cosmetology and do makeup for actors and stuff. But
that's media related, all right.
Yeah.
That people make great careers out of that. I see those nails that you have. How do you do that? How do you get those on there?
I go to the nail salon, but
show the camera. Look at that. How do you even function? You don't play piano, do you?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't know. I think I get the beauty stuff from my mom, because my mom used to be a nail technician, and she went to cosmetology school, or whatever they call that. I don't know.
No, that's correct.
Yeah. So.
That's very interesting. So you do other people's hair and all that stuff.
I'd love to, yeah.
You did your own color?
No.
No, you didn't do your own color.
No, I went professional because my hair was dark, and I had to make it blonde.
What about horror makeup and special effects makeup? Does that interest you at all, or no?
Yeah, but I've never really tried it because I don't know where to get the supplies from.
Well, they would teach you that.
I've tried to at home before, but I just didn't have the right supplies, so it didn't work out how I wanted it to. But
what about the summer? What's happening with you in the summer?
I'm gonna have driving hours, so I can finally get my license. I work with my mom, so.
Oh, that's great. Anyway, any other parting words you have for the audience?
No.
No?
No.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We're here with Abbey Brady, about to graduate after 4 long years here at the Medford Voc. Abbey, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And what do you think is your most memorable time here at the Medford Vocational Technical High School?
My most memorable time is sophomore year when I first entered the shop, being the first student and it coming in as a freshly new program. We weren't even classified as a vocational program yet, so the whole sophomore year we were getting that certification to make sure we have the vocational program and where it is.
So you were in on a very historical time here at the what I call the Medford Mustang Media Studio.
Yes, I think it was.
So you saw it being built. Was anybody here before Miss Frazier?
No, these 2 rooms that we're in right now were actually unclassified as a a danger zone in the school because of the asbestos that was located in these 2 rooms.
Right.
So they had to quarantine this whole area and get it.
Wow. So what was it before? Why was all that asbestos here?
A long time ago, I don't know how many years ago, but it used to be 2 classrooms with a hallway, but with no door. I mean, that door is new. So it used to be just 2 vocational classrooms. It used to be an auto technology related room and another classroom. And then they became no use, so they kind of just went to...
Right. They changed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think for the better, because this stuff is great, and I've never worked with servers before in my career, and I got to do that, and it's great. So let's talk a little bit more. You have a sister in the media world, in the work world.
I do have a sister in the media world.
And what does she do, and how did she get her start?
So right now she's in Allegheny College. She's a double major in communications with film studies, and then she's also environmental science. So she wants to combine those two to do like National Geographic and different things. But she got her start with her best friend. Her dad is a producer on movies in Massachusetts. So she would always go out with her and watch the movie scenes put together. And then 2 years ago, she started working on the sets as a PA to anybody that needs one. She usually did PA to the director and the producers. But last year, she did PA for the location, where she did all the location scouting for the movie.
Great. Now, do you want to follow in her footsteps, or what specifically do you have as a goal?
My goal is to become a director or producer, where I want to where I want to create a story to make it come alive. So I either want to do the movie industry or the TV industry. I feel like the TV industry, you have so much more that you can do in like a longer time, hopefully, than a movie within 1 to 3 hours.
But there's more today than just movies and TV. There's YouTube, there's Hulu, there's Netflix.
Yeah.
All kinds of different hybrid kinds of production places.
Yeah. So I kind of classify Hulu, Amazon, and Netflix for their TV shows just as TV shows. But like I would do that. There's unlimited opportunity. YouTube would be like short videos, probably.
So do you see yourself moving to Hollywood maybe someday, or Atlanta, or I think it's Tallahassee has a big film community?
I do California, the Burbank area, Atlanta, Georgia, or Vancouver, Canada, because those are the 3 major locations for TV shows and some movies. Because I know the Atlanta just filmed some of Endgame there, and then they also went. There's also, you can go overseas too and film.
Now, do you know anything about script writing as far as Hollywood scripts?
Yes, I actually do. I have a program on my computer on where we can write the scripts. It's called script writing. Script writing, and it gives you all the basics on like the font for the script, everything. So I know how to write a script. We did many courses last year on where we had to write a script and then perform the script.
So what's your favorite thing? Is it drama or comedy or horror or adventure or what?
I think my curiosity is more on the adventure side and mystery side. Because I always like a cool mystery. Like, you don't know what will happen.
Who are your major influences in that area that you would model yourself after, maybe?
I don't know.
Or not?
I really just influence, I feel like, some TV shows that I watch, and some books I've read. Some books I've read that people aren't turning into movies, which I think they should turn into movies. Or TV shows.
Tell us about what you've been working on and you're going to be working on it almost up until the end.
Yeah.
Here.
So right now I'm working on the senior video for the class of 2019 for the whole school, so both the high school and the vocational school combined, which will be taking place next Friday during senior breakfast.
Great.
We'll be watching the whole thing. It's a slideshow of all the different activities.
So what's the feeling that you get, because everybody's different, when you've edited hundreds of hours of something and then it gets shown to a live audience? You see their reaction. What's your reaction?
My reaction is like, okay, they're seeing this. I hope they like it. Like, I don't want to hear anything disapproving, but sometimes it is.
Yeah.
It's sometimes even scary for me because you don't know how people take it.
Right. Well, you got to remember also, it's criticism can be good and it can help you improve in the long run. Everybody has weaknesses and strengths, you know.
Yeah.
So you got to take that in that spirit. Don't take it as a personal thing, you know. Any parting words for the Medford audience here?
I think that the people who are listening, they should take every opportunity that's given to them. even if you heard about it and it's slowly coming in, try to make that change a little faster.
That sounds like great advice. Well, thank you, Abby, for joining us here.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplan.
My guest at this time is Christopher Freeland, senior here at the Medford Vocational Technical High School. Chris, welcome to the podcasting room.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. So our purpose today is you're at the end of your career here at the studio after 4 years, but I think you were someplace else before you were here. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, in November of 2017, I moved here to Medford from Nashua, New Hampshire, and it's been all right here, but I would have preferred being in Nashua, to be honest.
Well, you grew up there, so it's home to you. This is still your adopted place. So what kind of equipment did they have, and what kind of a program did they have up in Nashua?
I would say they're more advanced in terms of maneuverability, but in the actual stuff, it wasn't that great. Like, I was only in their video program for a month or two before I moved here, and like at that school we did like on the move things, so like with a dolly, and we used a lot of the shotgun mic on the boom pole. So like we had things like that, and we had like a giant cart that you could set up to have somebody sitting down but still be moving.
Now, was there a studio, or was everything you did on location?
We had a studio, but all that we did there was on location.
So you did not have mic jacks or wireless mics. You had the shotgun mic plugged directly into the recorder. Is that it?
Yeah, I believe. I don't remember using lavs there.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So every studio that you go to is different in the sense that the different teacher, different equipment, different stage of the program. That's very interesting. I like to hear about the other programs around New England and around the country.
We also didn't have like the cameras that we have here, the DSLRs. We had like old cameras.
Oh, did you use tape?
Huh?
Did they use tape, like mini DV tape or anything? Or
No, it wasn't like that.
it was SD cards still.
You
don't remember what you recorded on?
Yeah, I don't remember what type of storage it had, because we never imported anything at that point.
Right. Okay, well, let's move on to here, the Medford Vocational Technical High School, our studio here at Medford Community TV that we share with the Medford Community TV people at nighttime. You were in the shop here for 3 hours a day or about that?
Yeah.
And why don't you describe the year that you had here and what you think you accomplished?
Over about the last 2 years, I would say that I've definitely learned a lot in terms of studio production and like how to set up the camera like in a good way and different ways to shoot, like doing a podcast or doing like an interview, stuff like that, and learning how to set up mics and stuff in the proper way, and even just cable management I learned. So it's been an overall good experience, and I feel like it will definitely help in the future.
Well, that's good. Now, of all the disciplines that we do here, video, podcasting, still photography, Adobe Premiere Pro for editing video, a little bit of Photoshop for editing photos, what is your preference for a concentration?
I definitely say I like editing the most, because it's like being on the camera is fun and all, but it's still like stressful and everything. But once you get to editing, you can do like anything you want. You could create like an entire scene if you wanted to, just by editing it.
That's correct. A lot of creation is done in the editing room. A guy that I know actually does the promos for a lot of Hollywood movies, and he works in a little editing room that's way smaller than this room, and that's what he does for 8 hours a day. They send him voiceovers, and they send him music that they have the rights to, sound effects, you know, like when somebody drops, I'm going to make a joke now, somebody drops a pencil and you hear rumbling like they do in promos today. That's what he does. Anyway.
Yeah, I just want to say it's interesting about that, because like, it's not like back in the old days where, like, everything that was video was just, like, movies and TV shows and stuff.
Right.
Now it's all, like, you could do it localized with YouTube and streaming and all that.
Right.
You could even work at it from your house.
Right, exactly. Everything is home-based now. It used to cost, to make a promo, could cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And today you can do it at your house. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
It's democratized production, you know? Tell us what you're working on from now until the end of the year.
I plan to do, like, basics of photography and trying to create some sort of animation. Although I haven't gotten too far on either of those. And I sort of want to do, like, something to show off, like, what I like and edit it together and just sort of make it look cool.
Sounds good. Now, career-wise, what do you see yourself doing when you graduate?
When I graduate, I plan on getting a job, but I haven't, like, looked into it or anything, so it could be, like, just being a cashier at some store, or it could be, you know, maybe I'm recording something on, like, a sports show or a news channel or something like that.
Right.
Whatever is available, basically.
So long-term, what is your goal with this training that you've gotten here?
The thing that I want to do is I want to become a gaming streamer, because throughout my life, like, I've always had them to, like, go to and basically, like, relax, and I feel like I want to be able to give that to other people too. But I don't see that as, like, a long-term goal. I don't think that would last. So just, like, recording things, becoming an editor, stuff like that would probably be my goal.
Do you see yourself as a freelancer or working for a station or a production house?
I would say at the start I'd probably rather be a freelancer, because, like, I could do that from my home, but I would definitely prefer to be on a station.
Right. Well, Chris, thank you very much. We're going to miss you around here when you graduate in very few days. Any parting words for the Medford audience?
I would say just do your best, and if you're in the Voc, make sure that you're in the right class and that you want to do this. And if you want to do this, give it your all, because it could help.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm here with the one and only Kayla Val.
You know the vibes.
Uh-oh, you know what? Punch up the GoPro. My head's going to be cut off. We need somebody to move the camera again. No, it's not on program. We're recording black.
Just kidding.
There we go. All right.
I need to charge my phone.
All right. So, what's the matter?
My phone's dead. It's fine.
All right. All right. Here we are. I'm with the one and only Kayla Val in the studio.
Vibes. Hi, guys.
So, how does it feel to finally be almost out of here?
It feels great. You know, spent 4 years in this place. Leaving just feels so weird. I don't know, but it feels great.
So, you had other shops before this one.
Yeah.
How do the shops compare, and how did you come to pick media technology?
So, at first I was in health assisting because I want to be a physical therapist. And then, you know, outside of school, I would volunteer at my church in the media department. And I kind of got to see other things that they're doing and, you know, take pictures, do switcher, put audio, graphics, all this stuff. So the more I stayed in nursing and did media outside of school, it just felt, you know, right to just move into the shop. And when I came downstairs, I seen similar stuff to what I have at my church. So I finally switched in October, sophomore year.
And you already had that experience behind you, so that
Yeah.
must have given you a leg up on
Yeah.
what was going on.
Yeah.
So I have to do one thing. I'm going to take my headphones off and put this other light on because we're not getting a good picture. But it doesn't really help because the camera is aimed. It's not quite hung up there properly. We can see you, but we can't see me, and that's okay because I'm in the show enough. Now, this past year in media tech, you had co-op right here at Medford Community Television. How did that go?
It was great. I worked here from 1 to 7 with Patrick every Monday and Tuesday after school, and I kind of just got to see live shoots, meet different people, and experience a lot of fun stuff working with Patrick.
So now we have this podcasting equipment now. There's
Yeah.
other changes that you've witnessed in the studio.
Yeah.
Did you make any suggestions to Patrick as to what we should have here? Or?
Well, one day, me and Patrick were just like fooling around with the GoPro, and we were kind of just thinking like that'd be really cool if we used it for a podcast. So I kind of like assist Patrick making most of the decisions here, and yeah.
That's great. Now, the big question: what comes after high school?
I'm going to Fisher College, class of 2023. And yeah. Fisher College, and I'll be working at Legal Seafoods and Assembly Row.
And what do they specialize at Fisher?
Well, so what I'm going into is, I'm gonna be a double major, so I'm gonna do information technology and video and production.
Very interesting. You know, I think that's the same college that used to be called Fisher Junior College years ago. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure they used to just teach like secretarial stuff,
Yeah.
and typing and all that
Yeah.
stuff. All that interesting. So, what is your outstanding experience in media tech? What's your favorite project, either this year or the other years with Miss Fraser?
Yeah.
What was it?
So my sophomore year being here, we kind of had difficulties with administration about what we could wear and how we could express ourselves. So at one point, they weren't allowing us to wear head wraps. So
A head what?
head wrap.
Head wraps.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we kind of just protested, and I made a video about it and like what happened and what it meant to me, like protesting against it. And then my other favorite project is my Being Black in America project. So my 4 years here, there was never like anything that was shown to us or just other things about Black History Month. So I decided to make that video and show it in homerooms in the morning, Friday morning.
And did that start a tradition?
So kind of, yeah. I try to I made another video my senior year this year for Black History Month, and it was kind of just like a slideshow of like 100 influential people, Black people.
Now, what's it like at your other job at Legal Seafoods? What do you do there?
I'm a hostess. So that means when people come in, I get them seated. If anybody has a takeout order, I jot that down and send it to the kitchen. Clean menus. And yeah, so I'm kind of the first face they see when they're walking into Legal Seafoods.
Now, there's a contradiction about you because you have a very charismatic personality.
Yeah.
And look to you, but you hate to be in front of the camera, but yet you're a hostess live.
Yeah.
And you're just barely in the shot right now here. Like what causes all this?
I don't know. I just rather be in the background than be on TV, I guess.
It's as simple as that. Anyway, any parting words to the class of 2019?
I love you guys so much, even though I pretend that I hate you guys. I just know that I wish nothing but the best for us, and we did it. Yeah.
All right. Well, Kayla Val, a historic moment for her. We'll be right back.
Bye.
My next student interview is with Zachary Anderson, a sophomore here at Medford High.
What's cracking, Kaplan?
What's cracking? Actually, Medford Vocational Technical High School.
Mm-hmm.
What does what's cracking mean? What's happening?
Yeah, it kind of just means what's up.
I'm not up on all the modern day lingo.
Yeah.
So, what made you take media tech? And I think I know a secret that you're not going to be in media tech next year.
Yeah, so I kind of took Air 1 because a lot of my friends were taking it, which they stopped taking. The only one who actually lasted was Michael. And also because I was pretty pretty interested because at the time I used to watch like a lot more TV and stuff. I was interested in the YouTube side of it. So, yeah.
So, you took it because your friends took it.
And because I was interested in it, yeah.
So what makes you, are you less interested in it now? Not to put you on the spot.
Less of I'm less interested in media, more and less interested in the type of media that's taught in the shop. Because the type of media in the shop is more about like podcasting, documentaries, TV production. I'm more interested in like animation.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do animation as well. You had 3 animation projects, 2 little ones and 1 longer one.
Yeah, but like, it's weird.
What did you like? You must have liked the field trip at Lesley University.
Yeah.
I think you were in the same workshop as I was.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you get out of that? Was that the light bulb in your head that went off?
Yeah. The thing that really went off in my head was that like I always had an interest in drawing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like kind of, I was like on and off with it. There'd be like a couple months where I'd just be like really into drawing. I would be drawing nonstop, and then in the other months where I just wouldn't be like drawing, I'd just be focused on other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom, like throughout my entire childhood, was just like, hey, if you keep drawing, you could do that as a career. But I never really thought of it too much because, it had the stereotypes in your head from like the mid to late 2000s that was like, oh, if you go to an art school, your parents are going to be disappointed in you. So I never really thought about it too much. And then when we went to Lesley and stuff, I realized how fun it was, that there actually is a lot of demand for it. You can do it more. And yeah, plus they also teach 3D animation, which helps because, as one of the speakers who was one of our guides said that like she worked at a game industry for 3D animation, I realized that I can do that because I have a really big interest in video games.
Mm-hmm. So now in Media Tech we have Adobe Animate and Adobe Character Animate. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if they use those in, I think you said you were going to graphic design, correct?
Yeah.
So why would you pick graphic design to fulfill that dream?
Well, because in graphics, it helps my drawing skill as well. And, I don't know.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm losing my train of thought right now.
But do they have motion graphics in graphic design?
Yeah.
They do.
Because a couple of my friends who are in graphics were telling me that you get a daily project, which if you do after that, you can focus on what you want, and the both the SPAGs know what they're doing around that field, so they can help you out with it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, you're free to do that here too, Mm-hmm. But not that I'm trying to make you stay. Mm-hmm. You got to go where you're comfortable, and So, do you plan on going to college?
Yeah.
You do. Do you have any idea what college you'd like to go to?
I've always been interested in Lesley, but it used to only be like an all-girls college and stuff, but I learned like a couple weeks before the Lesley trip that it's no longer like that.
Oh, it hasn't been that way in a long time.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of there, like a New York school or something.
Mm-hmm. Think back on this year and what has been your most rewarding experience in Media Tech?
It's more of kind of like a social thing that's helped me a lot. Cause no offense on this, like the projects haven't helped me too much.
That's okay.
But it's been more of a social. Cause in general, I'm a really shy person and stuff. But like, there are like people here like Kiara and Liana and Michael, Bianca, that I've actually made quite good friends with and stuff. So it's helped my morale. Because last year I just wouldn't talk and I'd stay in like a small friend group. Now I'm actually starting to expand it.
I can't even imagine that because you're quite social with those people you just mentioned. And that's very much a part of media is when you're communicating with other people, you develop relationships and friendships and you know what talents they have so you can use them on different things. And collaboration is where it's at really in media. So you got a lot out of media whether you realize it or not. It's not all technical stuff.
Yeah.
So which college did you say you wanted to attend? And then after that, do you see yourself staying in the Boston area? Or is there a center of animation that you would go to?
If I go to Lesley, it's either I'm going to take 2D animation and try to work at a couple like cartoon studios like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, those places. But if I go into 3D animation, which I kind of want to,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be able to create 3D things for games. And if I do go into that, I'll most likely move out into Washington, because one of my all-time favorite game companies, Bungie, is out in Washington, and they're like always hiring because they recently departed from their game owner Activision, so they don't have the support of their co-studio Vicarious Visions anymore, so they're in a lot of need now.
Very interesting. So correct me if I'm wrong. Can anime fit in with your plans at all?
Not in the sense where I'd be creating it, but in the sense where that's kind of where my drawing style is. Like my drawing style is a mix of like really like cheesy drawings and stuff, and also like anime.
Right.
So it would help for my drawing style, but less of what I would be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Considering anime is just Japanese animation, so it has like a different flow to it.
Right. Now in animation, because I don't know too much about the animation industry itself, are there people with different jobs? Are there still inkers and positions like that, or does everybody do everything on the computer now, one person at a time?
I don't know too much about the industry as well, but one of my favorite shows of all time, so far at least my top 10, Steven Universe, the creator Rebecca Sugar, went to one of the Comic Cons, and I think it was like a Comic Con like Boston or something. I don't know if it was exactly a Comic Con, but she went somewhere in Boston for like a convention, and I was able to talk to her, and I asked her a bit about it. So she says it's kind of like a mix of, depending on what you're at. Usually how her one is produced, it's a storyboard animation, so you have, instead of having like one main animator where everything is the same, the animation style slightly differs every now and then, because it all comes down to who's animating what part.
Very interesting. So how much freehand work do you want to do when you're into animation? What if they tell you that you don't use pencils, you don't use ink, you just go on the computer? Will that bother you or no?
It wouldn't too much. I don't have much experience with drawing tablets, because I don't have one, and I haven't used one very often. I've used one at my friend's house a couple times on Photoshop, and it's pretty fluid. It's just a weird thing, considering there's a trick where
right,
with a pen, depending on the one you have, since your phone picks up the electric inputs from your hands.
Right.
If you're drawing on a drawing tablet, you're going to be drawing like you're on a thing. So you don't actually want that to pick up. So there are certain things you can buy that's just kind of like a slip that goes over like your pinky and down here and a bit of this.
Right.
But if you don't have that, it's a trick where you take a long sleeve and you just do this.
Very interesting. Well, any parting words for the audience?
Once they turn 21, Kaplan, or if I move to I think that's like this place in Canada with an M, we need to get a drink sometime.
That's great, but I don't drink.
Well, I'm going to change that.
No, nobody can. No one has. No one ever will. Straight edge before the term existed, folks. You ever hear that term?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. Here we are with Mattie Sweeney, another sophomore here at the Medford Vocational Technical High School Media Program. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Kaplan?
I am very well.
It's great to hear.
And, well, I'm not lying down yet, so it means I have some more energy left in the day. How has the Media Tech program been for you this year?
It's been pretty great. I've surely learned a lot more about Media Tech than I knew coming in here. Like, I know how to edit. I didn't know how to edit at all. Like, I learned how to edit. I learned how to make a podcast. I learned a lot of stuff that I think can be really useful for me not next year, but in the future.
Really?
If I end up pursuing a career in media technology.
And which aspect of media do you like the best?
It's not really, like, this isn't really considered media. Well, I mean, it is, but, like, I want to be an actress. But in order to start being an actress, I think I want to, like, just go in as like a producer or like something behind the scenes and work my way up.
Well, that's the way to do it, is to behind the scenes technology, the more of that especially editing, the more control you will be over your own performances. If you get to produce your own stuff, if you start off that way and you edit, you'll have so much more control than an average actress would have. Actors really kind of keep among actors and acting skills mostly, but to have somebody that knows behind the scenes is very valuable for your own career. You can make your own demo as an actor. You know what a demo is.
Yeah.
And you can send those out. You don't have to pay anybody to do it. You know how to edit.
I can do it myself.
Exactly.
Like,
That's right. We had them.
We had the rotations, and before I even got to the school, I knew I wanted to be in media tech, because I knew like that's what I want to do with my future. I want to pursue a career in media tech.
Well, that's good. So now this year, what was your favorite project that we did here?
Probably the documentary. I don't really like documentaries because I think they're pretty boring, but making one was actually pretty fun because I made mine about cheer, and I'm really passionate about cheer. So I had all my cheer friends come in, and like I interviewed them for it, and then I interviewed my coach, and I used all the clips from all of our competitions in the documentary, and I really think that went really well.
Now, what was their reaction when you went to their place and did that?
What do you mean?
When you took the camera on location and you interviewed them in the gym, they must have had a reaction. Like, were they impressed? Were they afraid? Like, how did they react when you were doing that?
I don't know. I don't really think they had like a reaction. I think they were just like, oh, she's doing her project. Like, this is good. Like, this is good for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was I could tell you were really into that project.
Yeah, because I had to reshoot interviews multiple times because I hated how they came out.
Right.
Like with my coach.
Right.
I didn't have not a podcast. I didn't have a tripod. So for the first one, so I was recording with my hands, but the footage was really shaky.
Handheld,
so I had to
yeah.
go back and redo it.
It takes some time and experience to develop a handheld that's reliable like that. That's hard to do. So now next year you'll be a senior, but you're moving. I'm sorry, you'll be a junior. That's right, but you're also moving away.
Yeah.
Do they?
Saugus High.
Do they have a media tech program there?
Yeah. That's why I wanted to stay in this school, because Saugus High doesn't have a Voc.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's Northeast or whatever the closest Voc they have that's in Wakefield doesn't have a media technology program. So
There's another one. Lynn Tech has a media program.
It does?
Yes,
I
it
didn't know
does.
that.
Yeah. Check them out.
I will.
Because
Thank you.
Lynn
I actually didn't know that.
Lynn is right next to Saugus. Yeah. So because I used to work in Lynn, I know some people over there too. So anyway, any parting words for the audience here?
If the audience, depends on who the audience is. Like, if the audience is people who want to join media tech, then I'd say definitely do it. It will help you so much, like with the understanding of how like videos and everything is made through technology, and I just really enjoy it a lot.
That's great to hear. Well, thanks for joining us, Mattie.
You're welcome.
And best of luck in Saugus.
Thank you.
Here we are with Bianca Sasso, another junior here at the Media Tech program. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplan. I'm happy to be here.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that. Just kidding. So this year in Media Tech, can you describe how this year has been for you and what you've done?
Well, as being a junior in this shop, and it's my first year too, so I didn't start as a freshman. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but I really enjoy what I do. I love learning how to edit. I loved learning how to shoot. I think it's really fun. Mr. Kaplan is a great teacher, one of the best teachers I've ever had.
I didn't pay her to say that.
No, he did not. But I really do love this shop. It's one of the best things I've ever done.
Wow. I'm going to put this on a loop and listen to it and watch it when I get depressed.
When you get depressed.
Some of the projects that you've done, we did an animation project, a couple of little animation projects. We did a PSA. You started off with a nice PSA that you and Savannah St. Germain did. Want to describe that project?
So the PSA was actually one of my favorite projects because I was in it. So basically we were like, okay, so what's really important to us? We weren't going to do just another PSA like vaping because we see that all the time. It's like the go-to one for all the kids. We weren't going to do one on bullying because that's more of another go-to one. So we were like, why don't we talk about mental health and like depression, because it's very common among teenagers. I know multiple people who suffer with depression as a teenager. So we decided to make it, and we got a guidance counselor involved, and we got many students involved to help us shoot it, and it came out really good. And that's probably my favorite project of the whole year. It's really nice.
That was a very good project, and a lot of depth in that project, you know, and reflections of real life of a lot of people, not just students, people of all ages. What was your least favorite project?
My least favorite project was probably the animation one because I, never finished it.
Now, why didn't you finish it?
Because I'm not interested in animation.
Yeah, well, that can happen. That can happen. Now, what did you think of the field trip that we had to Leslie University?
So I had already toured Leslie previous to the field trip, but I only saw like the college campus. I didn't see their media part. So I thought we were just going to go on another regular college tour, but we showed up and it was better than I imagined. It was beautiful. The green screen room was amazing. I've never seen something like that, like in person.
How about the render farm?
Yeah, that was super cool too because there's only like a couple of those in the country.
Can you explain what a render farm is to the audience?
A render farm is something that Leslie has, and it's where they keep like all of their like, what is it, like they keep one technology thing, like all of their computers are hooked up to that.
It's
thing.
like our server room.
Yeah.
But when you do a special effect, instead of waiting for the effect for like 10 minutes,
it just
the render farm
happens.
will make it happen faster.
Yeah.
And they have a bigger one in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Some of the studios have like render farms that are as big as a real barn, you know? Okay, so media, you never thought to get into media, but you ended up here, and you like a lot of aspects of it. Do you see yourself going into media as a career?
I do see myself going into media as a career because lately I've been touring colleges early, even though I'm a junior, but I've been looking into a lot of media programs at Bridgewater, Curry, Leslie, and my number one choice is Emerson, but that's kind of a long shot. But
that's where I went.
I also want to get into music, producing, stuff like that. I really love music.
I didn't know that about you.
Didn't?
I did not.
If I wasn't going to be in the shop, I would have taken music technology as my elective.
Do you play an instrument?
I play guitar.
You do?
Yes.
And if I had known that, I would have had you bring your guitar in.
I have 2 guitars, and I will bring them in.
Bring one in. We got time. I'll
bring my acoustic.
Like 15 days, 14 days?
Yeah, well, I can bring it in.
Cool. Are there any other things that you would like to say to people out there about Media Tech, about your year here, about what you want to do?
I have one thing to say.
Okay.
Big Chungus, and that's it.
I think I better explain that. Big Chungus is a Bugs Bunny offshoot character.
Yes.
That weighs about 500 pounds, would you say?
Yes.
That's really, she calls everybody Big Chungus, and that's not an insult, but it's just like
it's a compliment.
Kind of a compliment. Anyway, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
So long. We're now with Liana Puccio, another junior here at the Medford Vocational Technical High School Media Tech program. How are you, Liana?
I'm good. How are you?
You've been waiting a long time for this.
Yeah.
People kept getting ahead of you. So I just want to say that the camera keeps changing because the GoPro camera that we have is put together on there mounted with tape. So we just had our intern, Kat Darnell, fix it so that your head's not cut off now. So let's go back and survey this year, Liana. How was Media Tech for you this year, and what did you get mostly out of it?
It being my first year in here, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about like camera settings and editing and how a video should look, how an interview should look. Definitely.
So you were not here last year?
No.
I forgot that. Most people had the freshman exploratory. So what did you do during freshman exploratory?
I was the last class that wasn't required to take the exploratory.
Mm-hmm.
So like the class of 2021, that's the first one that they all had to take the exploratory. My class didn't have to do that. So
I see.
All of us were just like, oh, you're either in the Voc or the high school, like you have to choose. And I'm like, I don't know, because there's not really any shops that I'm interested in. I didn't know there was a media shop.
Now, how does it work when you transfer officially into a Voc program? Your homeroom had to change, I heard. You keep talking about that. You had another homeroom last year or something?
I had a homeroom in B building.
Yeah.
And then when I switched, they said my homeroom was going to stay the same because they combined the schools and like the Voc and the high school were one school. Mm-hmm. And I went to my high school guidance counselor to change into the Voc, which I thought was weird because I thought I had to go to like the Voc office to change. You know, it was all weird. So they said my homeroom wasn't going to change. It changed to to my shop. Mm-hmm. And I still go back to my old homeroom sometimes, but this is like my actual homeroom now.
Right, but normally...
I still have 2 lockers. My locker from the high school. I have my Voc locker.
Do you use both?
Yeah, I use whatever's easier. Some days I use the upstairs one. Some days I use the downstairs one.
Very interesting. I didn't know that the dynamic was so different, so complicated when you're literally split in two there. So let's talk about some of the projects that you did here. What was your favorite project here?
I liked doing my visual representation, even though I didn't finish it.
You mean the music video?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I liked Vine Review.
Mm-hmm. Vine Review. Now explain to the audience, the older audience, what is a Vine?
Well, a Vine's like a maximum of 15-second video. Mm-hmm. And it's just like a funny meme, and a meme's like an internet joke. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of like teenagers and people who are younger and older than me like just watched Vines when they were little.
Right.
And we all like relate to them. So if we'll say a Vine, like another person will know it.
Now, officially, the word Vine represented a certain company that no longer exists. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, they deleted their app. I don't know why. They would have made a ton of money with it now because it's like a trend, but they just like deleted everything. And there's Vines on YouTube now.
So
Instagram.
Vines are different than memes. Memes are just still photography or cartoons.
Well, they can be like videos too, but Vines were the original videos on that app called Vine.
I remember that. I remember seeing that a lot. And it's kind of funny that they're gone now because they could be making a lot of money still.
I think TikTok and Musical.ly took over Vine and bought them out maybe.
What's TikTok? I know what Musical.ly is.
It's like the younger generation, so like maybe like 8th graders and below.
Right.
They use Musical.ly or it used to be Musical.ly when I was in middle school, but they changed it to TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's like Vine, but you can make videos and put music to them.
Right.
So like you dance along to the video, or like you do something funny.
I see.
There's also Dub Smash.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's an old app that I used to use.
You use a lot of apps.
Yeah.
So you're quite proficient with your phone with all these apps.
Yeah.
Do any of them help out in media technology?
I used to use one called Video Star.
Uh-huh.
That was to make music videos, and you could do music, or you could dance to music on the app, and it would like videotape you, and you could do effects, and you can time it, so you could be like 3 seconds, you're going to do this thing, and then it will stop, and then you could do the whole song. And then there was another one called Video FX. That one was like Video Star but without music. And then there's iMovie, which I still use on my laptop because I don't have Premiere.
Even though I don't let you use iMovie on your projects.
Sometimes it's easier because that's what I started out with. So.
But you understand why I require you to use Premiere Pro.
Because it's more professional.
It's more professional. It's what we use.
It's better, but it's definitely more advanced.
The whole idea of having... What's that?
It's harder to use than iMovie. iMovie's just very simple.
Right, but it can do so much more.
Yeah.
The idea of having this equipment here and Adobe Premiere and all the Adobe Creative Suite 2018 is so that you can do here what you cannot do at home. You know, why have all this I won't say multi-million dollar, I don't even know how much it was, but a lot of money. Why have all this equipment if you're not going to take advantage of it?
Yeah.
You know? So now your dad is in the media, and he has his own business. Can you describe what he does, and did this inspire you to get into this program?
What do you mean by that? Like what?
Well, your dad, what kind of a company does he have?
Well, he is an electrician.
Right.
And my uncle owns it, and he just works there.
Okay. So he knew quite a bit about what we do here when I met him.
He used to be a DJ, so he worked with a lot of audio, and he knows about like audio and sometimes about cameras because he just does stuff like that. Like he likes doing it, but he never like pursued it. And he also went to the Vogue, so he was in an environment like this.
So did that inspire you to join the shop originally or no?
Honestly, I just like decided on it one day. Like Bianca was talking about it, another girl in this shop, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna switch into Media Tech," and I was like, "Oh, that sounds really interesting. Like I've never heard of that." And like, there's a shop named Media Tech, and like I didn't know what it was, and I was like, I knew that I wanted to get into video and like media, so I was like, "Oh, that might be a good shop for me." And I went to my guidance counselor and I talked about it, and they're like, I was like, "Can I try it?" And they're like, "You can meet the teacher and you can like have a tour of the shop, but once you join the shop, you can't get back out." And I'm like, okay. So it was kind of a gamble, and I guess I got lucky because if I joined the shop and I hated it, I wouldn't have. It would have been harder to get back into high school.
You would have had to wait another year.
Yeah, it would have been a headache trying to get my schedule.
Yeah.
It probably would have been a month before I was like already back in high school.
So you fit in quite well with the other students here, and you seem to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And how has that been, like, collaborating with all these different kinds of people?
It's fun, and especially since we're so diverse, it's interesting to learn about different people and their interests.
Now, you've proven quite proficient. You've edited the news, and you've been in front of the camera for some things sometimes.
I get too nervous, and I'm, like, shaky.
You were fine. And you do teleprompter particularly well, setting it up and getting it going for the people and timing it for the people who need to read it. What's your favorite position in the studio? Do you like to technical direct? Do you like to direct? Do you like to do audio?
I'll do anything, but usually like the cameras or teleprompting.
So now next year, think ahead to senior year. What's going to be your goal in senior year? Or goals?
Certified in Adobe Premiere. Possibly After Effects because I want to learn how to make cool effects with videos, and maybe like more Adobe things, maybe Photoshop so I can edit pictures.
Right. And don't forget there's Adobe Animate, Adobe Character Animate, there's Adobe Illustrator, whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, any parting words for the audience?
Maybe don't be afraid to try new things, because if I never tried this shop, I wouldn't have learned that I like doing this. So,
words of wisdom, try stuff. And we'll be right back. I'm with Rebecca Cooper, a junior here at the Medford Voc in the media program. Rebecca has a lot of experience in all types of production. And what about this year have you gotten in terms of additional skills to the ones you have?
Oh, with the field trip, I got to learn how to animate slightly.
You enjoyed that one. You were in the same one I was in, right?
Yes.
You were sitting right next to me.
Yes.
That's right. So
that one was really fun. If we had drawing tablets, I would do that because I watch on YouTube a lot of people do, I watch animators, and it's really fun because it's just how did you put that together in a day?
Actually, I experimented at home with Adobe Animate, and I did it right on the screen with the mouse. So
really?
you can actually learn to do it with the mouse. It's rougher, and it's more challenging, but you can at least, until you get a tablet, you can practice.
Yeah, I
with
put a
all that
tablet
stuff.
on my Christmas list.
Not one of those $3,000 gizmos.
No, just the $80 one that you draw on the tablet and you have to look at the computer screen to see what's showing up.
And you're going to match it up just like we would do with the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. They had a problem there, as big as that facility was, matching the mouse or the
pen.
tablet with the screen.
Yeah, they had the pen wouldn't calibrate right.
Right.
And then they showed us how to calibrate it, and it was easy. I think you have to calibrate them every time because my math teacher, her whiteboard is touchscreen, and before she even goes to do any work on it, she has to calibrate it. So that's kind of in a similar fashion.
So, don't forget we have on all the computers now the whole Adobe Suite 2018. There is not only Adobe Animate.
I started my recent project in 17, and it had a transfer to 18, and I lost everything.
Oh, that was the one the other day?
I think so, because I went to go open it, and it said, you are editing on an older version of Adobe. Would you like to transfer to the new version? And I had to press yes. They wouldn't give me another option.
You're into still photography.
Yes.
And what would you like to do with that? Now, I know you have experience working with your sister, who is a hairdresser.
Yes.
With all kinds of models and hair and all that stuff.
Yes, my sister does my hair, and she usually uses my camera to take pictures of it. We did a Disney villain type contest where she dyed my hair different colors, red, and like blacks and oranges, and one strand of it was green, because we did Te Ka from Moana, which she turns into Te Fiti, which is the good guy. So we did the green to show Te Fiti. We didn't win, but the way that she put my hair up and showed it off was really cool because she did like the swirl that they have in the center of their chest. It was really cool. That was fun.
So
and then I prefer to take pictures of nature over people because the nature likes to stay still and the people like to move around.
nature doesn't talk back.
Yes, exactly.
How about animals?
I have a couple of pictures of animals. I have a picture of a bird that I got apple picking. I have a picture of a raccoon that was sleeping in the tree of my old backyard. And I think I have a picture of a turkey.
Now, in terms of Photoshop, what have you done with that? Anything?
Yes, I've done a lot. I have darkened images. I have made them look more natural. I don't know a lot about Photoshop, but like I have played with lighting on the Photoshop app.
I saw you do that.
It was fun. Like the difference between just changing the lighting is so crazy.
Everyone's brain works differently.
Yeah.
And 5 people can experiment with Photoshop and they'll all come out with 5 different kinds of things. I could not do what you did with light that day, for instance.
I want to learn more because like there's a guy I follow on Instagram. His name is Brandon Wolfell. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he took a picture when this girl was sitting on like this bed and there were string lights still going down all the walls, but not over the door. He went into Photoshop and got rid of the door. Just copied the string lights and put it over the door, and there was no door there.
Very interesting.
Like, you got rid of the doorknobs and, like, the details in the door. And I was just like, how do you do that?
It's a lot of fun to get rid of photobombing people.
Yeah.
And
like,
objects.
if you want to take a picture with just one, like, monument, and you just want it to be you can edit all those people out of it.
That's
or you
a lot of
can,
fun.
like... There have been, like, drastic edits where people, like, take a picture of the Eiffel, like, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and they, like, edit it so that, like, it looks like it's in an ice cream cone.
Right.
It's funny.
So, animation, still photography, kind of a theme here. You're very visual.
Yeah. When it comes to actual videos, I come up with ideas that I can't do. Because it's so much. I need, like, a whole production team. I need quality cameras, like movie cameras and movie stuff. I can't do it.
Sometimes you gotta scale back your ideas and adapt to the equipment that you have.
Like, the recent idea I had for a music video for the song Hey Look Mara, I Made It, I needed footage of me getting my diploma. And that's not going to happen for another year if I pass. So it's going to take forever to be able to do that. Save that for next year.
Wait, now what could you have footage of somebody else getting their diploma? What?
It has to be me because it's my story. It's me struggling through school, struggling through the homework, and finally getting to where I need to be.
But listen to this now. You know how Adobe Premiere works, Premiere Pro. You can record all of that stuff that leads up to the diploma and just save that last edit for when you get your diploma.
Yeah, but that's
you could do the whole
I want it
project.
To be quality.
But it will be quality. You just won't have that shot yet. You'll have to wait for it.
So you're telling me I have to clean my room and start recording?
Well, that's up to your mother, I think.
Yeah, no,
right
I
there.
got yelled at this morning. I left for school, and she says, you need to clean your room. And I'm just like...
You could do a time lapse of your room being cleaned.
That was going to be my video. That was the idea I got after I couldn't do the music video. But then I was like, this is boring. Who's going to want to watch this? We're going to put this on the channel, and nobody's going to, like, they're going to be like, who the hell is she? Why are we watching her clean her room?
I think that would be fun. I think a lot of people, especially students your age, would identify with that video.
And so...
Set it to music,
Students
speed it
my
up.
age don't watch our channel.
Well, you can put it on YouTube too,
Nobody watches my YouTube channel. I have like 3 subscribers.
Anyway, let's.
Yeah.
Let's,
So, with my, like, no, like, I don't know what to, I don't know.
Start again.
I don't know the word to use. With my skills in video, like, if you look at my YouTube channel, you could see my very first music video, which is my favorite. And it's my family and I in Disney set to an Elvis song covered by my favorite band. And it's just, like, the perfect setting.
Bands cover Elvis songs?
Yeah. Bands
Really?
cover Beatles songs, too.
Not often, but yeah, true.
It was Can't Help Falling in Love.
Uh-huh.
It was so cute. I love that song.
Anyway, so now, looking forward to senior year for you. What are you planning for senior year?
Certification. Because, like, how am I going to, like, I at least need to get certified in editing so that people who be like, if they want to hire me and I don't have college education yet, because I need to get money for that first, they can't be like, if I'm not certified by the time I graduate, they can't be like, oh, you're hired. Do you have any proof of knowledge in this area? I can't be like, yeah, I did it in high school. I need that piece of paper to show them.
There are 2 ways that people get hired as editors. One is the way you just said, showing the certificate. The other way is to impress them with something you've edited too.
Yeah, but I'd rather show both.
It's always good to have a backup.
Yeah. And I just want to be able to, I have no awards, nothing to prove that I'm good at anything. And having that certification to just be like, I found something that I can do, something that I'm slightly good at.
A great goal.
Yes.
What about beyond high school? What are you thinking?
I have no idea. Right now, I'm going to try and get a job interview at Mahoney's, the garden place down the street, so I could get a little bit of money to save up for the right computer and right editing software for myself.
Are you a gardener?
Kind of.
Vegetables
I
or
do it on a
flowers?
video game, so it's not that much different than real life. You plant the seed, you water it, you wait for it to grow, and you make sure it doesn't die.
A virtual garden.
Yeah. Well, farm. I grow plants like
Vegetables or flowers?
Vegetables and flowers, because I have beehives that need the flowers to make the honey.
You have beehives?
Not at home, in my game.
Oh, okay. Because a friend of mine, a former student of mine, is actually a beekeeper in real life.
I hate bees. I hate bugs.
So you don't go to the...
I have a picture of a spider. It's the cutest picture ever, and I was terrified while taking it.
Don't go to the Topsfield Fair and see the bee exhibit then, I guess.
I've been to the Topsfield Fair.
And you've seen that exhibit?
No, but I've seen the elephant.
There's a house. It looks like a little house. And inside there's all jars of honey. And when you go down this hallway, there's actual beehives with their owners showing the bees.
Do you get to wear the costume?
Yeah, they have to with the screening and all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, no, what I want to do, I want to try at least once. You know how you see the YouTubers like a daily vlog, a daily video they post on it? I want to try that. But like my life is boring. I go to school, I learn, I come home and I eat and eat and eat, and I do homework, and that's about it.
And on that note, we will say goodbye, Rebecca. Any parting words?
Don't give up. Just keep trying.
Don't give up. The words of John Cena, folks. Do you even know who that is?
Sounds familiar.
He's a wrestler. Here we are with Chiara Borsico, one of our sophomores here at the Media Tech program. And how has the year been for you so far?
The year has been okay, I guess.
Just okay?
Yeah, nothing really happened.
Well, let's talk about just the shop and all the stuff that you've done in the shop. There's been quite a few projects that we've had, experiences that you might have had, going out with the camera with the crew and editing stuff with deadlines and all that stuff. How's that been?
It's been okay. Deadline, not really.
What does that mean?
I've just not been doing my work as usually that I've always been doing, but yeah.
You've been doing your work. You passed in your stuff.
No, I meant like passing like deadlines, like other projects I haven't did.
Oh, but we're talking about just this shop.
Oh.
That's what this is all about, just this shop. So, what's your favorite thing to do in the shop? Do you like podcasting like we're doing right now? Do you like studio production? You've been involved in front of the camera doing that. We've done a little bit of animation. We've done on location shooting for still photography. I know you like that. What do you like the best?
The thing I like the best is like working with the cameras in the studio.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes and going on shoots.
So what's happening for you next year, Kiara? Are you going to be in this shop again?
Next year, I'm gonna be in the shop, but I know it's gonna be really different than this year.
Yeah, why is that? Because I won't be here. Yeah, when you change teachers, everyone has a different style. So some of them might be more to your style, some of them might not be to your style.
Well, next year is gonna be really different because we're gonna have our usual teacher here, and everything's gonna change. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's look beyond college now. I mean, beyond high school. I'm sorry. Beyond high school. Beyond high school, what do you see yourself doing? Going to college?
I see myself going to college.
For media stuff or what?
Not really media.
Okay.
But I'm still looking.
Still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, that's always a good thing. What's been your favorite moment in media tech?
My favorite moment was just getting along with my friends
Mm-hmm.
in here and, doing all the other stuff with the kids.
You're not the first one to say that, because media, when you find people like yourself who like the same things that you do and are involved in the same projects, it's very easy to strike up a friendship with them. And when it goes back to high school, you might know these people all your life. You never know. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Do you have any parting words for the audience who's going to watch this?
Oh, they're going to watch this?
Well, look.
Oh.
Any parting words?
My parting word is I'm going to miss Kayla so much.
And
she's like my big sister to me. That's it.
All right. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with Savannah St. Germain, junior here at the Medford Vocational Technical High School. After a whole year of media tech here, this was your first year here at the Voc.
Yes.
How was that?
It was kind of a different
dynamic.
I'm going to say experience, because last year it's so much different from the regular. You go to class every single period and then you have lunch. But in the Voc, it's really more of a relaxed environment because we're all a bunch of kids who are really passionate about what we're in and what we're learning. So it's more of like an artistic understanding everyone has, I guess, of each other. And like the teachers here are just way more accessible and like relaxed than the teachers in the high school. And it's just a really different dynamic. And I really enjoyed it so far.
Well, that's good. Good to hear. What about this shop in particular? You had a lot of different projects over the course of the year. You had an animation project. You had talk show. You had... I can't remember them all. You say them. You're younger than me.
So when I first came here, what was the first project we did?
You did a PSA first, I believe.
Yes, that's right. We did PSAs, and we've worked with Miss Dunphy, the media literacy teacher in the high school, actually. And first we did PSAs on our own in the shop, and then because of our involvement with that, we started with helping Miss Dunphy and her students. And then after our PSA,
after our PSA, we did news packages.
That's right.
I believe me and Mattie Sweeney did a music news package. And I think there was one point at the end of first quarter and second quarter that we did a project that you let us pick whatever we wanted. Was that first or second?
I think it was second.
Yeah. And me and Bianca were originally going to do a project where we sat in the studio. It was a talk show. And we were going to be talking about music. It was called Face the Music. And we filmed one episode of it. And it never kicked off. But we got there. And we had the main premise of the video down. And I think it was a lot of fun. We've done a bunch of talk shows. Worked with the Week in Review, the students in the high school, the seniors.
Now, you anchored that a couple of times.
Yes.
How was that?
It was really different because I'd say in the shop we learn more of the technical aspect of things, like behind the camera, and being in front of the camera for once and working as like the talent, I guess you'd say.
That's what you say.
It was a different experience because mostly I know what's going on in the studio. There's a director, there's an audio person, there's a teleprompter person, and it was just different seeing it from a different perspective.
You got rave reviews on your performance by both teachers and students.
Yes, multiple teachers have come up to me about that today, still to this day. And it's nice being recognized for things that we do down here because we're kind of more secluded.
We definitely are. We even have our own door.
Yeah.
Which is very unusual because we share the space with the public access station, which is open from 2:30 to 8, I believe, or 3 to 8, something like that. And so we share the studio. So we have to be responsible, which is why I'm always on you guys to clean up your messes and crumbs and don't get anything on the floor and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a neat freak anyway, so you can imagine. Anyway, so now you have a very unique aspiration. You want to be an entertainer when you get older. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
And you've started on the road to doing this. I see you recording your garage band songs. You borrowed a mic from me, one of my personal mics.
Yep, I brought it in for me to use, and I packed it up in this closet.
Yeah, and
turned it into a recording booth.
That's exactly the purpose for a closet like that, because they tell you to do that. I do voiceover work, and if you don't have a space that has a dead echo, no echo, you go in a little room like that. Preferably a linen closet, they say.
Yeah, because the sheets and the material bounces the sound.
So you did,
or it doesn't. It absorbs the sound.
Exactly. But you instinctively knew to do that because you can always add reverb and things like that later.
Yeah.
So you want a clean, dead sound.
I definitely hear the difference. Like in my at home when I do my music and stuff, if I record anything, I mean, my mics are just headphone mics or my phone mic. And it was really interesting using mics like these and the one that you brought in and just the lavaliers and stuff. You can definitely hear the difference. But it's interesting going home and recording and doing that stuff, but doing it here. Because here is more professional. I mean, I'm using actual equipment.
Right.
But I definitely hear the difference, like, between that room and when I do it at home.
Well, even with the podcasting, at the beginning of the year, remember we did podcasting with the lavalier mics.
Yep.
Which have a good sound because we use them in the studio. But what we're doing now is like, this looks like we're at a radio station right now.
I know.
And these microphone arms, you can actually see me lifting this up and moving it around, can go wherever you want. And on mics like these, the closer you are to the mic, the better the sound is and the less background that you hear. I knew you were going to do that. But it's just the professional atmosphere, I think, elevates the talent to a higher level than if you're doing it in your bedroom.
And it's not the professional level thing. It's not just in this shop. It's definitely throughout the Voc. Because, I mean, you walk into Cosmo, you see they have sinks, and they have, like, real vanities and, like, real equipment and everything, like, for their field. And you walk to electrical, and they have set up walls and walls of
things that they can just
Right.
test on with their wires and electricity. But yeah, it's definitely throughout the whole vocational school, but I was really drawn to the shop
That's
because
good.
of the technical aspect of things.
So, as a creative person, it's not just what you do on stage or live or even being seen in front of a camera. If you know the basics of editing and writing music and editing your music on GarageBand, you have more control, obviously, over your whole career. So you're going to know who's good, who's bad, who you can work with, who you can't, what's
Definitely.
going to help you to get your face out there, your music out there.
Definitely. And I haven't just recorded and edited things. I've actually published 3 songs so far. I'm not getting any money, but I just put them. It's a system called SoundCloud. I mean, it's a
I know
website or an
SoundCloud.
app. But yeah, it's a really just I come in here and I feel like I can just work on what I'm interested in doing, and I think it's a really good environment.
It is. I mean, it's state of the art. In some areas, it's soon to be state of the art because it's a state of the art space, but there's certain equipment that we're still buying
Yeah.
and adding to, like these microphone arms. We
They're
didn't
new.
have these, and these mics. These mics are a great addition. Let's talk about your senior year and how you envision your senior year here.
Well, pretty soon actually I'm going to be starting a co-op job. Don't know when that's going to be starting or how that's going to go, but I'm excited to see the future and working more in this field and just progressing through my senior year. And also I'm going to be auditioning for the Voice of Medford High, the news every day. The same people who come down here to do the weekend review.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and audition for it to ease some of that difficulties we have while filming weekend review.
The scheduling aspect is very difficult because
Yes.
the high school schedule is different than our schedule here in the shop. If you're here in the shop, you can do the news anytime you want.
Yep.
And
I'm definitely going to bring that up to those who are picking.
I don't think that's what they consider when they do that.
Well, I mean, I'm from the shop, so
That's true. You would think that would be an advantage, but I honestly don't know how they pick them.
yeah.
Do you think you're going to have to pick a tagline like they do at the end?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
have to think of one because I have to audition by today, or today's the last day to sign up. Or
Really?
something. Yeah.
So you have to think of one today.
Yeah. I'm thinking. Thank you for listening. This has been Savannah St. Germain, and have a holy day. But that's kind of too early.
I just thought of one. I'm
with it.
Savannah St. Germain. We hope that the news has been germane.
No, that doesn't make sense because kids my age don't have a very large vocabulary. So.
You know what that means, right? If
Like-
something's germane, it means it's relevant.
Oh,
I think.
I've never. Let's look it up.
We'll have to look it up after the show. Anyway, any parting words for this podcast?
You put me on the spot. Just thanks for tuning in.